Boxing Truth here, back with another video. Make sure to smash that like button, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I just came across this post featuring the top fighters in each weight class, according to Ring Magazine. So we're going to do a little rundown of each weight class, give my thoughts. I know I'm running out of material. This boxing is mad boring right now. We got to wait until some fights actually go down. So let's talk about the landscape of the divisions in the world of boxing. I might skip over maybe a division or two because I don't really watch them. All right, 200 plus pounds. Do we agree with Usyk being the man at 200 pounds? I do not. Usyk beat a weightlifter that he was an underdog to beat in the first fight, and he decisioned him twice. And where I feel Joshua just didn't big man him enough. But Usyk showed he showed why he's been a problem, and he was able to become heavyweight champion and successfully defend those belts. But he didn't beat the man. He didn't beat Tyson Fury. To me, Fury is still number one until proven otherwise, until he loses, until Usyk fights him and defeats him. And the odds makers have him as the underdog in that fight. I still don't believe Usyk is capable of beating a heavyweight like Tyson Fury, but he did prove me wrong against Anthony Joshua on two occasions. I picked against him twice. Still, I felt Joshua. It didn't happen. He didn't perform good enough. Didn't big man him enough. Too timid. Fury ain't gonna be timid. He's not gonna be hesitant if this fight was to occur. I expect Fury to show Joshua how it's done if and when this Fury Usyk fight happens. 200 pounds, this Australian guy, never watched him fight, don't even know his name. He did beat Maris Briedis, I believe. Cruiserweight division, not much happening. Makabu fights once a year. You got this guy dethroning Briedis. You got Okolie in contract disputes. Division's in a disarray. It's not worth talking about right now. Now you got the light heavyweight division. Is Bivol the number one guy? I would say so, yeah. I think so. I think he has more quality wins overall compared to Beterbiev, even though Beterbiev has the 3 belts, I believe. And Bivol has a WBA, but he's coming off a Fighter of the Year type candidate year. I felt his fight with Zurdo was very close, but he got the decision. I felt his fight with Canelo was very close, but he did deserve the decision. He got the decision versus Zurdo. I'm not sure if he deserved it, but he did win the fight, according officially. So he's the man at 175, and he will be a slight favorite against Arthur Beterbiev. I always felt Bivol would beat Beterbiev because of the style. But after watching how he struggled against Zurdo, I'm not so sure. I think Beterbiev has a much better chance than what I originally thought. But he is getting up there in age, and Bivol is he's the more fluid guy, the better boxer, the more athletic guy, he's the faster guy. But there is a strength disadvantage, and there is a punching power disadvantage. Don't mean that. I feel that's only Beterbiev's advantage, though. He's the stronger guy, the more physical guy, but Bivol is the more scientific guy. So it's a great fight. It should happen. Hopefully, it happens this year. Canelo's still the man at 168 at 168 pounds to improve otherwise, but I was concerned about his last performance. It was not the Canelo I'm used to seeing. I didn't see the firepower. I didn't see the explosiveness. It was a sparring session with an old Golovkin that he should have knocked out and annihilated, and he didn't. He just outpointed him, which was disappointing. So maybe it was the injury. Maybe he wasn't 100%. Obviously, he's coming off surgery. We need to see how Canelo looks coming off that surgery. But Canelo's not a young 32. He's had a lot of fights. He's been pro since he was 15. So some slippage is Definitely saw some slippage that last fight. Just wasn't a great performance. Wasn't strong. So we'll see what Canelo's out in his comeback fight. And John Ryder as a comeback opponent ain't an easy fight, but we'll see. We'll see if Canelo still has it. If he's still operating at a peak level. I'm not so sure anymore. Golovkin is considered the man at middleweight, I guess. There's nothing popping at middleweight. Jermall Charlo hasn't fought in almost 2 years. Golovkin still holds 2 major titles. Janabek's going life and death with uh, Frank Warren fighters. Golovkin is beyond past it. Any decent, hungry middleweight, top contending middleweight would probably beat him right now. I mean, Charlo, if he's out there somewhere, he should be begging for this fight. Whatever it takes to make the fight. I mean, Golovkin is there for the picking. But does Charlo have the stones to take him on after a year and 10-month layoff? I don't know. Probably not. But Golovkin he's there for show. He's not really the man at middleweight, but he has 2 belts, but he's done. That's that. Jermell Charlo, he's undisputed champion at 54. Needed 2 tries to beat Brian Castano after an unofficial loss the first time. He lost the first fight. Turned it around in the rematch. Props to him. He's a very flawed fighter. Somehow has been showcasing good punching power in the latter stage of his career, despite showing no power in his first stage. He's all of a sudden he's always enraged. He's always got anger in him. You know, it's suspect, man. Your first 20 fights, you didn't knock nobody out. Now you're knocking guys out in later rounds. Is what it is. Jermell is what he is. Flawed. Good fighter. Has some ability, but can be outboxed, can be outbanged, can be walked down. Very beatable champion. I expect Tim Tszyu to beat him if that fight ever happens, but I don't know. It's strange. Every time a Haymon fighter has to fight a fighter that's not affiliated with them, we get these type of pullouts. Errol Spence, the man is 47? Hell nah. Based on what? Getting rocked by Yordenis Ugas? Going the distance to Mikey Garcia? Barely beating a Sean Porter? He hasn't had any scintillating victories in a long time. I mean, the Ugas fight, fine. You know, he stopped him. It was probably his best performance since the accident. That was probably the best he's looked. He looked better than he did compared to the Danny Garcia fight. That's for sure. But you know, he's getting injured. He's got constantly in accidents. So is he gonna be 100%? He's gonna be inactive, rusty, and I expect Crawford to knock him out if ever that fight happens. Crawford's the man at 47 until proven otherwise. He's just a better fighter right now. Better performances, knocking everybody out. And Spence is getting hurt and getting rocked by Ugas. So until proven otherwise, to me, Crawford is the man. Josh Taylor is still the man at 140 pounds despite being stripped of multiple titles. His career has really stagnated, and somehow Regis Prograis has gained momentum to the point where people forgot that Josh Taylor whooped him. I mean, y'all just forget that this man walked that boy down and whooped him on the inside, outdogged him. He got a clear-cut decision, but the career has stagnated because of the bad performance against Catterall. A lot of people felt he lost. It was a close fight. Catterall let him off the hook. He could have made a definitive outcome of that fight, but he didn't. Let Taylor get back into the fight and end up going Taylor's way. The rematch has been so far difficult to make and has been so delayed that I mean people have practically lost interest. It's just over a year, almost a year since that fight happened, and still no official date, I believe. Some date in March has been being reported. Who knows, man? Let's get that fight over with and move on. Devin Haney, the man at 135. He's definitely the man at 135. He's the undisputed champ. Now he's about to fight a legacy fight with Lomachenko. You know, you can say a lot about Haney. He's boring. He can't punch, but at least he steps up and he makes moves to try to make big fights happen. You know, he could have been like some of these other guys, like a Gervonta. You know, just pick and choose, not avoid threats, not go into the lion's den. Devin Haney was willing to sign with Top Rank, was willing to fight George Kambosos in Australia twice. He became champion, and now he's going to be the A side against Lomachenko. He's going to have a very significant youth and size advantage, and he will be favored to beat Loma because of the age, because of the size, and because of the momentum going into the fight. So Devin will be expected to win. Boxing history says Devin will win, but Loma, he's still not beyond done, so he's still capable of pulling off a minor upset here. Can't wait for that fight. It's going to be one of the best fights of 2023. Haney will get a chance to really solidify himself. He's on the pound list according to some, but he will really make a stamp on that list if he comes out with a definitive victory over Loma, which I don't expect. I expect a very tough fight. 130 pounds, what's really popping at 130? Valdez pulled out of the Navarrete fight. It was one of the best fights scheduled. Fortunately, Valdez got hurt or something, pulled out. In the 30-pound division, you got Hector Garcia, who's moving up for a money fight with Gervonta. 30-pound division is what it is. There's really nothing popping there. Featherweight, you got Narvate. He's about to make his debut at 130 pounds. Still unsure if he's going to stay at 126 or 130. I mean, he's a big guy, can definitely carry the weight. Depends on what money fights are out there. Is there any big fights at 126? I don't think so. Not on the Top Rank side. That's why they try to make the Valdez fight at 130. Not really popping at 126 either. I mean, Ray Vargas is moving up to 130 as well. He's going to fight Shaquille Foster, so 26-pound division is there for the taking, really. 22 pounds. I mean, is Fulton the man? Not really. Not according to my eyes. It's still a debate between MJ and this guy, but they're never going to fight because the fight's not big enough and there's two networks involved. And MJ's so inactive, and Fulton is getting gift decisions, and he's possibly going to move up and fight Figueroa in a rematch, which needs to happen. He needs to prove to the people that he beat him, because he didn't. Not that first fight. Got a major gift decision. But, looks like the rematch is going to happen, which leaves Inoue with nothing but a vacant title, most likely at 22. Who's the man at 118? Undisputed champ. Annoyed with Inoue's career, picks and chooses who he wants to fight. Only picks guys he knows, 100% knows he can beat. And he only unifies with champions he knows he can beat. So, Inoue will move up. I expect him to fight for one of the titles, possibly WBO, but Fulton will be long gone by then. Nowhere to be found. Most likely, Inoue fights for a vacant title. Inoue is lacking legacy fights. Hopefully, he finds one of them to make his career a lot more interesting. 115. Estrada is definitely not the man. He lost twice to Chocolatito. The last two fights, got 2 gift decisions. Close. I mean, the third fight could have been a draw. It was very close. Chocolatito got off to a slow start, but Estrada is past his best days. And a young, hungry fighter is gonna end up beating him sooner or later. Whoever wants to crack at his titles. Sonny Edwards is the man at 112 until proven otherwise. Bam Bam is moving back down to 112 to create a strong debate. Sonny has the boxing skills and the science behind his style. Sonny and Bam Rodriguez will probably be the best fight in the division. And I'm sorry, I gotta skip the 108, 105, 105. I don't watch those divisions. 112 is my limit. I'm sorry, I just can't watch 108-pound guys fight. Care less about 105-pounders. 112 was my limit. That's the lowest I'll go. And that's that. Disagree with heavyweight, disagree with welterweight, disagree with 122 pounds. There's really no standout performer at 126 or 130. Estrada is there in name only. And we'll see if any of these names get knocked off this year. It's very likely Charlo could lose to Tszyu. If Spence ever fights Crawford, he's definitely going to be out of there. Josh Taylor, who knows? He hasn't been active, coming off a bad performance. Haney could still lose to Lomachenko. It's very possible. Bivol could lose the rematch to Canelo if Canelo is still the same or comes out back hungrier. Golovkin will be gone. But that's that. Let me know what y'all think. Who are the top fighters in the world of boxing, each division? This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.